Cement manufacturers face up to 3 years in jail under proposed legislation to regulate prices. Trade and Industry Minister Katie Hammond has been defending his latest controversial proposal to regulate the prices of cement in the country. He's been speaking exclusively to hosts of PM Express, Evans Mensah. Mr. Hammond insists the LI is necessary to prevent a cartel of manufacturers from exploiting the public. If the LI is approved, cement manufacturers could face up to 3 years in jail for violations. Despite opposition from the minority in Parliament and various interest groups, the minister remains firm in his decision. He made these remarks during an interview with Evans Mensah on PM Express.
They decide not to comply at the peril of the penalty.
What penalties are you proposing?
Well, it's pretty hefty.
Well, that's what I would like to know, yes.
I'll tell you, 3 years imprisonment, or both, of fine and imprisonment. So, yeah, a person who contravenes what I've just indicated to you is liable conviction to the penalty points. We're talking about 2,500. The unit points, I think the multiplication of 12 or something is 2,500 penalty units. You convert that, I think it's 12 cities or whatever. So how much that one comes to is the fine. And then maximum 4,000 penalty units. And that's what see, these companies, they are big ones. So if you limit them to fines, they will easily pay the fines and then come back and replicate the same whatever they want to do. So there's a stiffer one here. Now, imprisonment of not less than 2 years, and of course not more than 3 years, or both, fine and distance. But we don't leave it at that. You know, corporate responsibility and corporate whatever. So you well be thinking that, well, you can't put a company into prison. And so we go on to make clear that if it's a corporate...
Who specifically suffers this?
So here, you know, you want to hear...
If you can detail that for us.
You want to hear that one?
Yes, I want.
But you're not a company director in any of the cement
manufacturers. For public education, yes. Who suffers that?
All right, so we have it here. In case of body corporate, every director and officer of that body corporate is deemed to have committed that offense, if it is the case that you have the offense. In case of a firm partnership, you know, the firms and partnership, they have a different categorization. So remember, management, the firm of the any concern with the management of the firm is deemed to have committed that offense. So,
so the manufacturers then will bear this penalty.
Yes,
that's
not the company.
So for the directors of the manufacturing company. So this is an example. If it is the Jata manufacturing company, the directors, if they put out cement on the market at the price above the price ceiling,
exactly the ceiling,
then they will.
And you see, the ceiling, and I think we should be comfortable about this. The ceiling is not going to be unilateral.
Well, I've been joined by the ranking member of the Trade and Industry Committee of Parliament, Yusuf Suleimana, for more on this. Honourable, the Minister for Trade and Industry is optimistic the minority in Parliament will support him on this one.
Good afternoon to your viewers. And to start with, I want to say that it's unfortunate that the minority will not support the minister. The minority will not support the minister because we want to look at the legal.
Kindly unmute for me, Mr. Suleimana, Yusuf. Mr. Suleimana, kindly unmute for me. There seems to be a connection problem. We'll try and bring him back. But do we have you, Mr. Suleimana, Yusuf?
Yes,
right,
I'm here.
Right, we lost you.
Sorry. I was saying that it's unfortunate that the minister will not get our buy-in. He won't get our buy-in because we want to subject this legislative instrument to its constitutionality. And he made reference to Section 80 FR of the GSA Act 1078/2022. If you have that act there, please look at it very well and look at the section very well, and whether or not the minister has the legal right to introduce price control regime, you will get to know. That is the first issue. The second issue is that I have started raising issues about high prices of cement, not today. It's on record. I even read a statement on the floor of Parliament, and I made proposals. The proposals, among others, is, for instance, for us to look at the tax regime of these manufacturers. Take, for instance, a levy that is imposed on clinker when it's imported into this country. Now, that levy is referred to as fumigation levy, but you do not do any fumigation, yet you charge a levy. This goes into the manufacturing cost. And of course, this will also reflect when it comes to the sales price. That is one. Two, look at the situation where you have only one decking place for clinker that is imported into Ghana, okay? What it means is that you have traffic at the ports, and so most of them will have to also pay a demurrage between $35,000 to $45,000 per container. This will also reflect in the cost price or in the manufacturing of the commodity, and for that matter, the selling price. Government has control over some of these things. Can government engage the manufacturers so that we are able to reduce some of these things? We can take up the fumigation levy. It's unnecessary. After all, you are not offering that exercise.
What do you intend to do? What do you intend to do, Mr. Sulemana, because that airline matures in 21 days?
Yeah, so as I speak to you, when he brought it to Parliament, he was advised once again to go through what we call the pre-laying process. And as I speak to you, the Subsidiary Legislation Committee is looking at it. And I believe that they will raise some of these issues that I'm raising, that it is not lawful, and that we should do further consultations. And it's only when we do that that we can come to a compromise position. But let me put it on record. The minority is not saying that prices of cement are not high. We are not saying that the cost of buying cement should be borne by only the buyer. What we are saying is that government can do something about it so that prices will come down even before we think about legislation.
I'm grateful for your time. Yusuf Sulemana is ranking member on the Trade and Industry Committee of Parliament. Just as he's put it, there's a Subsidiary Legislation Committee pre-lay meeting ongoing right now. 6 members from the minority are present. 2 members from the majority are also present, with the MP for Dominic Ayeni presiding and the minister himself in attendance. I've been joined by Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kwekwa Sante for more on this. Kwekwa Sante, what are you picking from this pre-lay meeting?
Well, Aisha, this meeting is happening right behind me in that office. That is the Second Deputy Speaker, Andrew Amakwensiame's office. A conference room is what is hosting the Subsidiary Legislation Committee as they meet the Minister for Trade and Industry, Katie Hammond. Like you said, at the start of the meeting, there were about 6 minority MPs and there were about 2 majority MPs. A little more, about 2 or 3 NDC MPs have joined. The majority MPs have been gone up, but the meeting has started because there is quorum. And as we speak, the minority are continuing to make their case. Of course, friends of the committee like Dr. Bernard Ahiapo, for instance, is in this committee meeting. They are trying to legislate. They are trying to find out whether this subsidiary legislation, the airline that is coming in, sits in consonance with the parent law, that is the Ghana Standards Authority Act. And so they are trying to do that. They are trying to get that. They are also trying to get a kind of understanding that the Minister for Trade and Industry, Katie Hammond, is using, and that is behind this legislation. Of course, as we just heard from Mr. Sulemana, this has become a political football. The NDC minority really believe that the government can't do something about the price of cement without having to pass the legislation. They talk about taxes, they talk about the city's performance currently. They believe that if all these issues are looked at, then the price of cement will come down. For instance, a leading member of the minority that I spoke to yesterday tells me that the minister is just trying to obfuscate the issue, trying to lay the blame on the cement manufacturers, when really it is government, quote-unquote, incompetence that is leading the cement prices to go up. So the meeting is currently underway. We expect that it will conclude maybe in the next hour or 2, and then they can prepare a report, probably present that to the House tomorrow or as soon as Tuesday, and then the way forward as whether or not this LI will be laid or not can be made.
What other business are the MPs conducting today, Kweku?
Well, the House hasn't started sitting because it's a Thursday. We know that Tuesdays and Thursdays, the minority leader is on trial for allegedly causing financial loss to the state, for which reason the minority have always said they will boycott proceedings without their leader in the House. So there's a compromise that have been reached between both the minority and majority leadership that whenever the leader is in court, the sitting will start after the court proceedings. So House hasn't started sitting, haven't started an order paper yet, but we know that there will be questions, there will be issues about this LI that will quite come up on the floor when sitting starts somewhere around 2 or 3 p.m.
Kweku Asante is our correspondent in Parliament. We'll bring you more from Parliament as the events in Parliament unfold. Now.